Hey guys, what's up? It's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends series, part of the Spider-Man and Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure series, Marvel's Frog-Man. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I know very little about Frog-Man. I picked him up because, well, his name's Frog-Man. Why else would I pick him up? Seriously though, this whole series so far, it only has 6 figures, but all of them have been pretty cool from what I've seen so far. I own Miles and Peter B. Parker, and those are pretty awesome, and I'm going to get the rest of them because I do want to build Stilt-Man. And it's pretty cool whenever Hasbro gives us more obscure, lesser-known characters, especially villains, too. So I'm very glad to have this in my collection. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. It's very standard with Marvel Legends figures. Just says Legends series on the top here. All the stuff that the figure comes with, as well as the figure in the box. And then we look towards the bottom half here. It does say Marvel and Marvel's Frog-Man, and we do have the Hasbro logo right there on the top flap. It does say Build-A-Figure Stilt-Man, ages 4 and up, and warning choking hazard. On this side here, which is going to be pretty much the same on the other side, it's an illustration of Frog-Man, which is actually really nicely done. But then when we look on the back here, you get a nicer look at that illustration, which just looks even cooler. And then we do have a multilingual read-up right there on the right. If you want to pause and read that, it does say Marvel's Frog-Man and Marvel Legends series. Towards the bottom half of the side of the packaging, it says Build-A-Figure Stilt-Man, all the other figures in the series, and which Build-A-Figure piece they come with, as well as it has some multilingual warnings and whatnot. It does say Marvel and Hasbro logo again. And then on the bottom here, I have the barcode in case you need that. So let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here's Frog-Man out of the packaging. Honestly, it's a pretty solid figure, and it has a body mold we haven't seen in a while, which is pretty cool to see on this guy here. We'll take a look at the Build-A-Figure pieces and accessories that he comes with, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So we have a few accessories for Frog-Man, but we also have this left arm here, as you can see, for Stilt-Man. This actually looks pretty cool. I do plan on building this whole thing, so I'll talk about the detail of that when I get to the actual review. We do have a nice left hand here, an alternate hand. I think we've seen this hand plenty of times before. Then we have this cool gun, which I don't think I've seen yet in the Marvel Legends line. Again, I'll talk about all that more in full detail when we get to that review eventually. So, as you can see, we do have open hands here. We've seen these before with other characters as well. And it's molded in kind of like a lime green here. It's a little bright. So, these, the sculpting's not all that amazing, but they're pretty cool looking. And then we do have a pair of fists, as you can see, which we've definitely seen these in the Marvel Legends line before. Not much else with this figure, but I don't really know if you need much else. It's cool that we have alternate hands. So when looking at this figure, it's not super hard to tell that this is basically the Dr. Octopus figure that we got, I think, like a year and a half ago. And I do like this figure. I had my grievances with it. It was mostly because I don't have the bomber right now, of course, but it was because the tentacles I didn't think were done super well. But this body mold itself is pretty nice. I think this is only the second time we've gotten this used like this. It's, again, I mean, you can just tell just by the body shape that it very much is the same kind. I feel like, for some reason, I felt like this figure looked a little bit smaller than this one here, but they are the same size. You know, looking side by side, pretty much everything about them is the same. If you own that previous figure, you know what to expect. But one thing they didn't take out, which I kind of wish they retooled this figure a little bit for this, was if you see here, they do have the back ports for the tentacles, that he would have. There's something going on with the molding right there in the middle, if you can see. They cover it up with this backpack, though. As you can see, it has some pegs in here going into the back. So I don't think that's too bad. They at least attempted to cover it, but at this point, I thought it would, you might as well have just retooled it just a little bit, but it's fine, I don't think this bag, I mean, technically you can remove this backpack, but there really is no actual way to sort of like tab. I mean, unless this is a tab right here, but I just have not found a way to actually remove it without potentially breaking this little strap. Anyway, the head sculpt here I think is actually really well done. You can see the nice eyes piercing through there. The sculpt of the helmet or the mask is just, that's really nice, honestly. And the paint on the eyes, on these eyes, is really clean. It's mostly molded in this green here, whereas these are painted in a light green. And then we have some wrinkles in the neck, of course, as well as right here on the mask. And I think this, I don't think I've seen this backpack before, but this is a really nicely sculpted backpack. I dig that. I mean, it's not super extravagant, but it doesn't really need to be. So I dig that a lot. The paint deco in certain areas, these little details right there, from what I've seen, all of them are super clean. I have not seen a bad one yet on here. Going down to the legs, there's a little bit of this splotch right there. I don't know what's going on. But there was also, which I was actually able to scratch off, there was some extra paint right here. It was a lot worse than before I scratched it off. But I literally got it with my fingernail, so it's not that big of a deal for me, at least. Get down to these more lime green gloves. These they look nice. This is a soft piece too. It doesn't really get in the way of articulation. Now there's some nice wrinkles in the chest, as you can see. Going on to the pants too. They did a good job with some wrinkles. The paint deco. Well, this is a deco, but the paint here, that's not really a paint deco. I believe it's molded in this dark green here, but then painted in the lighter green. It actually doesn't look too bad. And then we get down to here with the pants. I was about to say the pants with the boots. And what I like is just how they did the flippers, man. These feet, these webbed feet look really nice with some nice wrinkles in there. So a lot of this is reused. Of course, this is new. This part right here and here is new, and then these are new. And they even have the springs on the bottom of the feet with some nice silver paint on there. So I dig that a lot. Man, that actually looks really cool. So they definitely, added a good amount that was new. And the reuse that's on this body is appropriate for this character, honestly. It's, a certain shape that he's in, and I think that it fits fine. Articulation is very standard with Marvel Legends. Head goes up. Actually, can go... Actually, that's about it. Down that far. It has a little bit of a neck pivot, but not by much. We do have a swivel here. Arms go all the way around. They do go in and out. We do have an upper arm swivel. It does have double jointed elbows. And then we have a hinge and a swivel for both sets of hands. And then we have a ball jointed waist. So it can swivel here, forward, and actually back really well. And a little bit side to side. So I dig that. Legs go forward that much. Not really back at all. In and out. Upper thigh swivel. We do get double jointed knees that actually do bend pretty nicely. We do have calf rotation there. And these part of the boots are reused. But the actual feet are, again, new. It goes down that much. And going up, that just twisted everything. Going up is not too bad. And then we do have the ankle rocker there. And the feet are flat enough, that it could probably stand on its own pretty well. But we do have peg holes towards the bottom here, which is nice. So for size comparisons, I have a good amount of figures to compare with. From left to right, we have the Miles in the same series. And then we have Doc Ock, of course. Right next to him on the right is Peter B. Parker. On the far right, that's the Retro Collection Spider-Man. All these are Marvel Legends figures, of course. Now, the helmet makes him look a little bit taller than he actually is. Because as you can see, he's about the same height as Doc Ock, and that's a bit of a shorter figure compared to, the rest of the characters. I mean, Miles is the shortest, of course, but these two Spider-Man over on the far right there, they're about the standard size Marvel Legends figure. Peter B. Parker probably being a little bit taller. So overall, this is honestly a pretty fun figure. It's fun to mess around with. It doesn't really come with that much stuff for the actual figure, but it's still a pretty solid figure overall. I like the reuse of the body here. I think it's the appropriate amount of reuse with enough new to make it interesting enough. I really like the contrasts of the different types of greens and the paint decos on there. It may be a little minimal when it comes to paint in certain areas, but what this figure makes up for is just new areas of sculpting, like the feet, the backpack system, as well as the head. I really like the head sculpt a lot. I just wish that they kind of smoothed out the back there. I mean, because if you move it around, you can tell that it is definitely part of Doc Ock. But honestly, it really doesn't bother me that much. It's still a pretty solid figure, and I recommend picking it up. I got mine at a local Walmart for $20, and this one's pretty easy to get online, from my understanding. It's a $20 figure. check certain online retailers if you're looking for this guy. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, and I will see you guys later.